workshop. Here's kind of how that happened. First of all, the Common Core was adopted in 2010, and it became apparent that it was more rigorous, and kids were not going to meet those standards of the Common Core we were doing in education at the time, with just basals and things like that. We were thinking, okay, we need something more rigorous, something it's best for kids. And on top of that, we want kids to love to learn to read and love to write. And that is huge with the workshop also. So our friend and colleague, Joanne Jennings, she was ELA district coordinator for some time, she traveled on her own money to New York City, and she went twice to the Teachers College at Columbia University and learned about the workshop. So she learned about it and came back here and taught us and taught the district about the workshop. We thought, wow, this is cool. This is the way to go. It's rigorous. It's not easy. It is work, but it's best for kids. It's best practice. It meets all of the research that we'll talk about later, and kids love it. Kids love to read, and they love to write when they are taught at the workshop. So that's wonderful. We are a team, and we're also kind of best friends, and we hope this for you in your buildings, that you can be best friends with maybe not even best friends, but friends with your colleagues, and you cannot feel afraid to ask questions. Because I can do the stupidest thing and say, you guys, I'm so sorry, or just to ask them, how do I do that again? I forgot. We are not afraid to ask each other questions, and we want you to feel the same way to ask us or ELA support in your buildings, and to be able to ask each other, your teams, and your colleagues. Don't feel like, well, it's a stupid question. I think it's very common for new teachers, especially, to stay in the room, and I'm not going to tell anybody I don't know how to do that, because I don't want them to know I don't know, and please don't do that. Please come and ask someone. There is so much to learn when you're new, so please ask us. So in the district, we had a pilot group of teachers who started with the workshop, and they have done this now for 4 years. And then all of the rest of the elementary schools have done it for 3 years. In the middle school, you girls might have to help me. I believe they've done reading for 2 years and writing for 3. Have they done writing for 1 more year than? Okay. So maybe they've done writing for 3 and reading for 2.
This is
something like that.
Second year for some of them. Misty's done it for longer.
Okay, so 2 to 3 years for middle school, they were just a little bit behind because the units of study weren't put out yet.
They're still coming out.
They are.
They're still coming out.
Yes, that's right. Okay, we had an overwhelmingly positive response with all of that, so we decided to move forward. We hope you like learning about it. All right.
I'm going to go over the materials with you. So for this part, everyone will need their boxes of materials just kind of sticking up. Who does not?
They're on the,
Okay, all over here. Okay. Yes, these will just be for training. We'll be needing them for. Okay, your set, we just borrowed your set for training purposes. So we'll need your set.
No, I'm a kid, not my dad. But I
And is there another way to set up something? Sure. It's just for me.
oh,
It's for me, yes, I don't have a second. Okay, so, all right, so I'm gonna just kind of give you just a really brief tour of your box material so you know what it is. So first thing I want you to find is your guidebook. It's called A Guide to the Reading Workshop. You'll either have primary or intermediate taught. So this is kind of our Bible, if you will. It's going to be very, very strong in your professional development. It's written in a way that kind of integrates all the current research in reading and best practices. It gives you the philosophy behind the program, which is again backed up by what research says is best practice in reading. Very rich in professional development. You'll be surprised at how much you'll learn about just the teaching of reading and writing through the book. It also will describe some of the components of the units of study, which we'll get to in a minute. It talks about assessment and planning, how to set up the classroom, how to manage things. So this kind of gives you an overall view of the whole entire workshop and the philosophy and research behind it. So we'll be spending a lot of time in that book. All right, so the next thing I want you to find is a spiral bound. The spiral bound books are your units of study. So find your first unit book, or any unit book, it doesn't matter. Okay. So if you look in the top corner, well, this one's a little different. It will tell you what unit you're on over here, grade 5, unit 1, and it will tell you, of course, what genre you'll be working with. Each one is separate, so you'll be taking these. We don't always necessarily do them in order. We have a scope and sequence that we'll get to and show you where to find that. We don't always go unit 1, 2, 3, 4. These books have detailed lessons that are scripted by a team of leading researchers and teachers. They've worked very hard in your lessons to make the language brief and concise and very clear. So you'll find that sometimes teachers have a hard time reading the script, but we recommend that you at least try that the first time you teach, because it has been very, very thought out how the words are to be said, and also to help you keep your mini lessons within 10 minutes. So there is a reason why it's scripted. The lessons are heavily scaffolded, and the curriculum spirals from year to year. So, whatever you're doing in grade 1, they will do again in grade 2, but with much, much more detail and much more, much broader. So they do, and also the writing curriculum kind of is interwoven with the reading. So you'll see now that, like Holy Family just got writing this year, but they've done reading, and I think they're going to be really, it's going to be really great for them to see how the writing and the reading tie so closely together, and you can piggyback off of each other for those. Remember when we did this in reading? Well, now we're going to do it in writing, and so you'll be surprised pleasantly at how well they get together. They dovetail nicely. All right, so you should have 4 units, and then we also have a if-then book. So the if-then book is next. Okay, so I was telling you how the units of study are very heavily scripted, very detailed, very well thought out. This is also a unit that you'll do. There are units in here, if-then units, but they are not as scripted and they are not as tight. You don't have to follow these quite as tightly. This book is designed to give you some choice as a teacher as far as what your children are needing. Say you have some gaps, some things that they're not doing so well with. This is a great guide to help you fill in some gaps and teach some things that may not be covered in the units of study. So this teachers, once they get used to doing the heavily scripted lessons, sometimes do struggle a little bit because they're not really sure how do I go about this, because it's not quite as laid out, but they did that by organization and that structure part that I can kind of fill in and scaffold for my kids. It allows you to make some decisions based on the needs of your students, and that was the purpose of it. But also to give you some support on what they might be doing. So if your students are not doing this or need to be doing this, then here's what you try. So it's sort of like, based on what your kids are doing, then you do this next. It's kind of the idea behind that. And Mary, I think, is going to also talk to you a little bit later about another supplemental book that we use that's by Jennifer Saravallo, and it has some strategies in there that you can also use during your if-then units. If-then units, you have a little bit more freedom, but the units of study are pretty much standard. We want you to follow them very closely and do them as completely as possible. So that's really important that those 4 units stay very structured, but then when it's time to do if-then, you have a little bit more freedom.
There might be we may have another unit of study because some grade levels, they've turned if-then units into a unit. So I think like 3rd grade now has a mystery. It used to be an if-then book, but teachers thought it was really powerful, and so they decided to turn it into a full-blown unit of study. Occasionally they come out.
They come out with new ones,
Yeah.
like kindergarten did, the word detectives, and then, it was in the if-then unit, but what they did was then they took it and really
Flushed it out.
Yeah, made it much more detailed, and the teachers love it because in 1st grade it was what they needed. Okay, so you should also, you may not have them in here, but most of the boxes will come with mentor texts. Okay, so mentor texts will be small books or texts that you can read and use. They're chosen very carefully to support whatever units come. Just put it over here. So they are designed and chosen to support what you're teaching. And these books will have many aspects of qualities that you will use in that unit. So this book was chosen because it supports many of the themes or ideas that are coming up in this unit, and you will be referring back to it often. So across several lessons, you may use one book. They're very strong, rich examples of what you're teaching. So those should be, if you don't have them in your box, they should be in your classroom. I noticed yours are in your classroom, but I know you've been reading something. So you have them. If you don't have them and you can't find them, then you need to visit with your administrator or the previous teacher that had your materials, because they did all kind of mentor texts. Okay, also you'll have in your box what's called sticky note, anchor chart sticky notes. So anchor charts are a visual piece, a visual tool that you'll be using as you teach. It tells you in the lessons how to prepare those, and it also talks about in the lessons, you'll be referring to them almost daily. So the sticky notes just kind of help you to be able to design posters. Basically, they look like posters and charts, and you'll be, these are they help you teach. They just help you teach your lesson, and as a resource for kids to use them, you should always come up in the room and refer to often. No, that's a good question. You do not get a new set every year, you get a new set every 2 years. This is our off year, so we will be getting new ones next year.
Some of the classroom teachers have made them into posters, like, because it tells you in your lesson, mini lesson, which one to put up for that day. And instead of always putting them off every year, they have chosen to laminate those posters, and then they
had a little bit of trouble with writing post-it notes especially. We got a batch that weren't real sticky, so that might have been when they kind of started deciding to maybe this poster so in the past.
So if you don't have them in your box, it could be they're back in the classroom. Either
Right.
a poster will be.
It could be you walk into a classroom with a poster store, just where you are, but yes, please let us know if you, let us know or your administrator know if you're missing something or you need something. And our job to help you determine where it is or see what we can do to help you. So, okay, any questions about the materials? I had one more book I needed to say. Sorry, I forgot the last book. All right, so the last book, you do have a reading pathways book. So reading pathways is basically, it helps you to know what kind of assessments you can give. They're called performance assessments. I'm going to get into those in more detail later. And then also something called learning progressions. So learning progressions are basically if you put your curriculum on a line, like a number line of progressions. Very beginning, kindergarten students should be able to do this, and then as they progress as a first grader, they should be able to do this. As a second grader, we expect them to do this. So that's what we call a learning progression. And Lucy has designed these in great detail using many of the concepts and skills that they need to know. So it is a very, what do I want to say, detailed, thorough kind of progression that will guide you to know if your students are where they should be, or maybe you have a student who is not and you want to see what steps to take next. That's what the learning progression is going to help you see where they're at and where they go next. So that's something we'll get into a little bit later.
If you're K2, you won't have that.
Right, not in reading. You won't have, the reading pathways start in grades 3. So K2 teachers will not have reading progressions. Thank you for that reminder. I left my other sheet up there. Okay.
Okay, well, as Amy said, we're going to be doing a lot of reading today. There's two sides to that. I know that sometimes when you have to sit and read if I have something that I want to read, I want to sit and recline it with my feet up and maybe some music playing in the background and, get comfortable. So this might not be your ideal place to read, but hopefully you can make the best of it because the other alternative is to send you home with homework. And in the summer, we really don't want you to have to read. And besides, a lot of this workshop format is read and discuss. And so we don't want to stand up here and talk at you all day. We want to involve you in the discussion. And so that's why we will have you do the amount of reading that we're going to ask you to do. So if you need to get up and walk around or go somewhere else to read, we're good with that too. Laura kind of went through why we chose this units of study for our district and the workshop model. I got a quote yesterday. Every time we do this workshop, we reread the material, and every time I find something new that I think, oh gosh, I missed that the first time around, and that is, this time around it spoke to me. And this quote I saw last night, it says, without care, the teacher doesn't care, the educators don't care, the greatest curriculum in the world is only paper and ink. Okay, so we can put these wonderful materials in your hands, but you are the people who bring it to life for your students and really make an impact on their education. And so, that's a big charge. But we have every belief in the world that you're gonna step up and do it. But I'm just, that hit me yesterday when I was reading, it was like, yeah, you know, you guys are the most important factor. We've got you some great stuff here that it's gonna take you working with your colleagues, working with us, working with your kids and getting to know them to really bring those materials to life in a way that kids will get the most out of it. So, with that, we're gonna get into your guidebook. And it says, first things first, the need for this series. This is just going to be a brief introduction of why Lucy Hawkins and the Reading and Writing Teachers College decided they needed to put these materials together. The reading workshop and the writing workshop has been around for 30 plus years, the model of how it's done. It's very sound. It's built on a lot of good research which we'll hear about. But teachers struggled with the mini lesson, what to teach at each grade level. So Lucy and her colleagues thought, you know, we need to put something together to put in teachers' hands to make this a little more doable. Because most of the schools that are doing this are starting back east, along the East Coast. They were big, large districts like New York who had curriculum writers. People in Hays, Kansas, you know, we don't have a curriculum writer. And so it was very challenging for teachers to come up with what to teach, when to teach it, that whole scope of, you know, skills. And so Lucy and her colleagues decided to put that together. And now what we're seeing is more and more districts, even in this part of the state, are becoming interested because it's more doable for more of us. So if you would read, depending on your, whether you're intermediate or primary or middle school, the first 3 pages, and when you get to the part that says the relationship between this series, I want you to stop there. But while you're reading, you've got sticky notes on your table. If you want to just jot down maybe a couple big takeaway points from it, then we're going to divide up into groups of 4, and I'm going to have you discuss with your group and then share out why do you think, what do you think is important about what you read about why they put the series together and why we really are drawn to it and why we think it's good for kids. That's the bottom line. So I'll give you, I don't know, 3 pages, 30 seconds. No. No. I'll just look around, and when you're done, you know, when I get most of everybody finished, then we'll number off and we'll do the discussion. A green name tag that you can go sit in that first group of chairs there. Might want to cook. And if you have a pink name tag, you can go in that far group of chairs. And if you orange in that group, and we'll see how that plays out. I think they were kind of stuck out to you that you hadn't thought about, maybe that you felt strongly connected to, or something that you thought was a main point that you want to discuss with your group. And then I'll give you about 4 minutes to do that, and then we'll just share out. One person from each group will share out, kind of a summary of what you've discussed. Hey.
Looks like she feels on camera. Pressure.
Well, I was like the thing that I've done this for a year.
I don't want to.
Well, so it's done.
Is your room?
It's that choice. And I was choice to choose it. Like I mean, it's just like it's and for my master's, that's where it's not even about something I'm interested in, teaching and success, but it's still like feeling like I have to remember every word I read. Like, it have to be fresh on me, and I hate it. And the kids are regretful. Because I don't know. Well, and then it's continuity of language
I know I have that, I got that from my mom. Certain things I try to remember to us in such a way that I don't cry. Certain person who's really excited about certain things. And so just
And reading was emotional for you.
oh, it still is. I love to read about my kids. I love it. Yeah. She's got it sort of like, oh, I know this.
Number of the Stars book. The teacher had connected to it so well. And I think it's, from doing those 15,000 steps that the student, she read it. But, she got to that really last emotional part where you're going to have tears streaming down your face. She's like, okay, what is that? And it's like, oh, she didn't get it. And so what do you want to do? And then book to go back and that comprehension.
The one thing that I, obviously coming from the psychology view, is that the research, like it's just showing that the programs aren't standing up to what they need to. And then I saw that people definitely being able to do the meetings. And then you need the strong literacy skills for a job. Like a lot of people are running out and they can't get jobs. And then I just said, we gotta look for a new vision.
5% of jobs were low skilled. Today, those jobs constitute only 10% of our It's likely that children who leave the school system without strong literacy skills will no longer find a job with a living wage waiting for them. So,
Well, and also the scary statistic of how many students who don't read well end up in the prison system. And that's also on the even further side of that. So it's important.
Even in the text, I don't know word for word, but just when we talked about how it's not that they don't want literacy skills to determine what their jobs are going to be, what schooling they're going to get. We want to try to get away from that.
We discussed that as well and the importance of that, but we also just reiterated the importance of the foundation of Reader's Workshop of just finding their own book that they enjoy, not being forced to read something is so valuable.
Because it enriches their lives and it builds empathy and it lets them experience things they're not going to maybe experience in Hays, Kansas. I like that quote too about reading in between the words, around the words, behind the words. I think that's such a important part if you want kids to continue to read and to want to, it's just like anything that you enjoy doing. You engage in it and you grow from it. And if you just see it as calling words and, taking a few facts from a book, kids are not going to be readers. We talked about in this group, the longer kids are in school, the less they love to read. That breaks my heart. We send these kiddos to school. We've read to them as parents, and they enjoy being read to and listening to stories and learning. And I just think about my own grandkids, they love the right before bed and they get to be read to. And whether it's fiction or nonfiction, that's a very enjoyable part of their day. And then we send them to school and, as they get older, they lose that. And it's like, we are doing something wrong. We're missing the boat here if we're teaching kids not to love to read because,
Can I say something?
things that you really like to do when you read a book. But I'll give you an example. When I read a book, I like to know, like my daughters might be reading the same book, And as soon as I finish the book, or while I'm reading the book, I'll call them up and say, I just read this part, I can't believe that. You know, and I love to talk about books that I'm reading. That's when reading is good for me. When I can choose a book and I've been, you know, I have a recommendation from a friend or a daughter, and I know it's going to be a good book. I can't wait till I sit down. I'll read, and then I want to talk to somebody about it. So in that case, that's when reading was good for me. So you could do either when was it the pits, or when was it good for you?
I think I was reading it's a book about an Australian naval guy who got sunk in a battle with the Japanese. Then he got taken prisoner. So really it's an emotional roller coaster, you know, but he was quite funny. So it made you laugh, but then it made you cry when he would go into detail what would happen with the prisoners, but you just like, unbelievable, you know, but it got those emotions going. So it just sticks out as, you know, it's an unfortunate story, but then he ended up getting rescued by American submariners. But just that emotional roller coaster ride.
That engagement, that connection.
So it's just an amazing book, you know. It's like I didn't want to put it down.
Yeah.
And obviously then you tell your friends about it who are into that kind of stuff, and like, yeah, that was a good book.
Yeah.
I know the pits for me was in undergrad school when you had to read books and texts that weren't interesting or weren't your field of study. So
Weren't your choice.
right.
When I taught 5th grade, I always liked getting new books that I thought would appeal to my 5th graders, and reading them and then think, oh my gosh, you guys have got to read this book, and then seeing them check it out, and then them, oh my gosh, you have to read it, and seeing it kind of passed around the room, like that made, I loved it.
Having kids do book talks about books that they're reading, and in the workshop there is every day there's a share, and kids love to talk. They do. They love to be social, and sometimes we don't give them that opportunity. But in the workshop every day there's a share time for them, and I think that's a very critical part of getting kids to love reading. Anybody else?
The pits for me was when I was working on my master's degree and having to learn how to read technical language in those research papers. Kind of goes along with what was said about the textbooks. It was a challenge to get to the point where you could read it and comprehend it and understand it. So something I hadn't been exposed to it until that point. So
Sometimes when reading is really difficult, as adults, we don't like reading things that are especially difficult because it doesn't feel enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I always try to keep that in mind too about kids. When we give them things, even a basal that's at their grade level, could be too hard for 5 of your students, you know? So there's...
Would anybody want to kind of venture what they feel like Lucy feels about Common Core and how these materials relate to the Common Core? Does she embrace them? Does she disregard them? How does she? Do we think we teach using them? Are we going to be covering the Common Core?
She said, we're coming up with units. Exactly what it was when she talked about that. Look at the assessments that students might be taking. And yes, it does. This does correspond with the Common Core, but the Common Core is just a guide. It's not the curriculum. It's a guide. We still, we don't specifically teach the class.
Right.
We
We want our kids to be prepared. What you need to know, in case anybody asks you, all the Common But what I think Lucy is trying to say is, right now Common Core is a mandate. Mandates come and go, okay? But she sees what is good about what the units of study are doing is that it's beyond a mandate. She calls it a mission. And her mission is to teach kids based on what research says they need to be successful readers. And so I think she asks, tells people that your school or your district should kind of have a bill of rights of what you want, that you feel like students should have the right to learn as readers, okay? And she and her team built these units of study based on what they feel are certain rights of kids as readers. And we'll get into a little bit more when we do the research, but they feel like every student should have the right to have a very joyful, literate experience. They should learn that reading is, to love reading, that reading is enjoyable, that it's fun. They're built on the fact that all readers, all students deserve to have highly effective teachers who know how to teach reading. And we call these units of study professional development in a box, because you cannot read and go through these units of study and learn and increase your knowledge about teaching reading. It's built in there. We've learned a lot. I've been being a reading teacher for over 20 years and learned new things all the time from these units of reading. So that's one of the things that they wanted to make sure that you all know, that you can learn. If you feel like, I don't really know that much about teaching reading right now, because depending on where you went to school and who you student taught with, people come out and prep programs having all different degrees of comfort about teaching reading. These materials will bolster you in your ability to teach reading. I always tell this story that when I was a new teacher, a first grade teacher, I went to a bridal shower and there was a veteran teacher there. And she asked me through that conversation with me, and she said, so how do you teach kids to read? And I said to her, I don't know. They just all seem to learn how to read. Which I'm thinking she probably thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe that came out of her mouth. But I really didn't know. I knew that, like, the phonics and knew how to read the lesson in the pencil, but I didn't really know the underpinnings of how kids learn to read and what would make them successful. And if someone struggled, what to do, when they struggle. And so I feel like if you go through these units of study, there's no way you can say, I don't know how they learn how to read, because it's very, very much embedded in that curriculum. Another thing I think that Lucy thinks is that is really important for our students is that you all belong to a vibrant community of learners. That you and Laura, I think, mentioned it earlier, that we talk a lot to each other. We meet every Thursday afternoon and we bounce ideas back and forth about, problem solving. And she encourages that. These units of study encourage you to work with your colleagues and to get their brains and help them. They help you problem solve and you help them problem solve. You have a little bit of a leg up because you have colleagues. Most of you have colleagues that have taught this a couple of years. And so you can ask them what works, what doesn't work. When we first launched these programs, we were all like the lion leading the lot. So they were a little bit at a disadvantage, but you do have colleagues to ask them for help. And, or if you don't feel comfortable asking them for help, please ask us. And then we ask them, we go out to, we can't teach every unit of study in every grade level. So we really rely on their expertise as well. So, and let's see, I think that was kind of what I took away from there. Make it your mission, because you guys you're the ones that matter the most. We can't bypass you, okay? When programs try to bypass teacher and teacher knowledge, then they don't work. Okay, so we need to increase your expertise so you can increase your students' expertise. And maybe when we can help you do that, we will, but a big part of it is reading those materials. And there are going to be chapters in the Skybook that we're not going to get to. Is it because we don't think they're not important for you to know about? No, absolutely not. It's just that we have a limited amount of time with you, and so we are trying to give you what you need, what we think you need to hit the road running. But go back to this whenever you're stuck. Go back and reread and look at the chapter and read that part of it, because we know this is like a wealth of knowledge as well as what you read in your units of study. So I guess, like we said before, it's not an easy curriculum. Don't want to stand up here and tell you it's an easy curriculum to teach, but we do believe in it strongly. We know it's best for kids, and it will really make you feel good about your teaching as well. So, I think
And I have something I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what Mary said. Here, if I can find it. Glad it worked. Here it is. Okay, so I thought this kind of went along with what Mary was talking about. When she was talking about the importance of the teacher. It says, earlier I cited a recent study by Denbury and others that shows that if a youngster has access to a strong teacher for 3 consecutive years, then that child's scores on standardized reading tests will be as much as 40% higher than the scores of students who meanwhile have not had that access to a strong teacher. This is staggering data, yet those are the results we should be aiming towards. So again, that's another reason why your units of study are fairly concise and scripted, and that way it's consistent between grade levels in your building. You're all teaching the same thing. Also, when those kids move to the next grade level, they've been taught that exact same precise language. So when those kids are mixed up and with a new teacher, you're all using the same language, and really helps to make that consistency and flow. So again, if you're all teaching, to the standards of this book and doing it with fidelity, like Mary was talking about, there's so much professional development built in here. You can't help but become a better teacher by using this. We really firmly believe that. So, just keep in mind those kiddos that aren't as fortunate to get a good teacher, even for 1 year, it sets them back. So, and the evidence shows that. So that's another reason why we really feel strongly about the curriculum. Okay, so in your unit book, we are going to start reading an orientation to the unit. And I wanted to start by saying that this, when you're busy, this is the part that a lot of teachers skip, and they go straight into that first lesson. They just turn the book and go straight to that first lesson because we're busy and we got to get through it. But I really want to encourage you to read the introduction and orientation to the unit, because it gives you a lot of background information about both where your kids should be, and it kind of gives you an overall picture of the whole unit. Because when you start at step 1, you're not always really sure in your mind where this is going. And this will give you a better picture of the overall unit as a whole and how it intertwines with where your students are at right now at their stage of development. So go ahead and read the orientation, and then you're going to stop where when you get to the overview. So we're just going to take a couple minutes to briefly read this and talk in smaller chunks for this week. Out of the orientation part, what is it telling us?
Explanation of all the bends.
This also comparative what we did in the previous grade.
Right. Very good. So it kind of gives you a background of what they should have had and kind of intersects the development of your students with the unit so that you know your kids should be reading approximately these level of books, HIJ. And this is what you're going to see in those kinds of books. And these are the skills they're going to need to read HIJ books. They're going to need to start inferring more. They're going to need to start doing some of these things that they're going to be encountering in those books that they read. So it also kind of just gives you that overall picture of where you're going with the unit, what kind of key skills they're going to need to have to tackle those books that they're going to be doing as independent readers. So it sort of ties it all together. I think it's just nice to have that little bit of background, especially if you're new to teaching this particular grade level that you have. The other thing I wanted to also show you, I meant to do this first off. Look at the very inside cover of your unit book. This is just a really nice, organized, graphic way to show you your unit at a glance. You'll notice that it says Bend 1, Bend 2, and Bend 3. And as Jenny mentioned, the bends, until this, I've never really heard it used this way, but bends are basically just, you're kind of on a path, and you're headed, you're learning all about fiction right now. And on this path, we're going to start to talk about maybe characters in this bend. And then we turn a bit and we learn about something just slightly different. And we kind of gather, still using what we learned about characters, but we're going to add to that some other stuff. And so you kind of think of it as, I always think of it as like a racetrack. Your mission is to complete the race, to get around the whole track, but you are going to encounter some different strategies as you go through that unit. So when you take a bend, you just take a slight turn and maybe learn a different set of skills or a different set of strategies along that same theme. Does that make sense? Okay, and so then you'll see in this section it talks about your mini lessons that you will do. Most units of study have 17 to 21 mini lessons. And then you'll see what kinds of things you might work on when you're conferring and doing small group work. You'll have a mid-workshop teaching point in each lesson, and it might give you some ideas of things that you can do for sharing time. Now, these are the components of your lesson, and it just sort of, it will be, of course, much more detailed when you read through it in the unit, but that does give you an overall picture of what, just really quick at a glance, what kinds of things you'll be studying. Okay, so I think you hit on most of it. Talks about the curriculum, how it ties into Common Core standards, the development of your readers, what you might expect from your readers, what kinds of things they will need for those texts that they encounter, gives a description of your unit as a whole. I just really encourage you again, I know it's kind of wordy, and I know when you're getting ready to start a unit, it might be, you just got to get going, but this really does help give you an overall picture and help you to know where your kids should be as well. And if they're not there, then you need to fill in and make some adjustments, but it should give you an idea of what they've had as well. Okay, let's read the overview and stop when we get to assessment. So the overview is the next section after your introduction, your orientation, Are there any questions about that section? One thing that I really wanted to kind of point out to you is that students will be kind of learning about a genre or a theme in a way as a delivery method to teach the skills. But the mindset of this curriculum is that you're not teaching to any particular book. You're not doing a literature study. You're not doing a novel study or a study of a particular book. You're, like Mary always says, we're not literature teachers, we're literacy teachers. We want them to teach in a way that the kids will apply what they're learning to every single book they pick up. And that's kind of a shift in our mindset, because I know when I first started teaching, we would pick up a book and my teaching kind of focused on the attributes of that book, whatever that might be. And, even some really detailed type questions I would ask the kids. Where were they with this? That's kind of, I've learned and hopefully grown to know that that's not the best way. It's much better to teach in a broader sense that encourages kids to apply those skills that they learn through all texts. So just so you know, you're going to probably hear that a lot from all four of us at some point in time, but think of yourselves more as literacy teachers and not so much as a literature teacher of a particular book or genre in their traits. Does that make sense? Okay, we're going to get into, I have kind of a lot to talk about with assessment, and it's a small section, so just read the assessment part next, and then I'm going to kind of talk to you about what our district requires as far as assessments go. I just wanted to let 49 teachers know that we do have an assessment base for the Teachers College assessments for all the students who are doing the study. Our district kind of gives us some guidelines on what our expectations are. So one of the things that we talked about is that we feel like everyone should be at least starting those units of study, your first unit of study, following Labor Day. So you have basically from the beginning of your school year until Labor Day to try to fit in those beginning of the year assessments. All of us will train you, those of you who need to know how to give the assessments, and we'll do that, we'll set up a time for that, at a separate time. We don't have enough time to get to it during this workshop, during this training. So it will be just an assessment training at a later time, teach you how to give a running record, kind of the nitty-gritty parts of what all you look out for to find those students' reading levels. So just be thinking about, as you're starting your year, how you want to start with the workshop. So again, the first thing you're going to want to do is set aside an hour out of your schedule for a reading workshop and an hour out of your schedule for writing workshop, if that's what you're teaching. And we really encourage teachers to start with that first because it is a priority. Reading, writing, and math at the elementary levels really priorities. So you might want to start with those 3 blocks in your schedule and sit down with your team, and if it's something you want to try to find common times for, that's great. If you can't, that's okay too. But start with those 3 blocks of time that you know you're going to need, and then sort of build everything else in your schedule around that. That seems to be easiest. But you will need to have an hour for each of those. Let's see. So when you come to school and you're getting to know your new kids and thinking about how can I start this workshop when I don't know what their reading levels are and I haven't really established a routine. So you kind of need to, we'll go through a little bit more reading, and I think you'll see how it starts to play out, and maybe we'll get some input from a couple of teachers who have done it. But you're going to need to probably take a look at where they were at last year. The nice thing that we started to implement was a card for each student so that each year you can see where they started at the beginning of the year, what level they were at, and where they ended at the year. So we do a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so you should have cards on your kids when you get them that will tell you where they left off at the end of last year. And that's very helpful, because the first year we did that, we didn't have anything. And it took, it takes a lot longer if you don't have a starting point. Now, keep in mind that a lot of times kids will backslide over the summer. So your card might say, they were at an E, and you test them and they're at a C, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, they really fell behind. That's normally fairly typical. I mean, they do. And then we see a huge jump in that first 9 weeks where they tend to really kind of pop back up to where they were before. Again, the reason we have summer reading camp, because we see that every year, that summer slide is big for some kids. But your summer camp kids are going to be awesome. Right, Meryl? Yeah. So anyway.
Or the one who establishes her own reading.
Yes, the one that does her own workshop in their bedroom is going to be like, yes, right there. Isn't that nice? Okay, so you're going to start by looking at that data card that you will have on your students for last year. And from that, you'll probably want to make some tubs of books and that are, look at your students' ranges, and you're going to want to have levels of books that they can choose from the first couple of weeks of school. And then maybe watch them the first week, sort of establish that routine. That will, if you have a little bit of a routine established, then it kind of allows you to be able to go sit with a student and test them. Because you're going to want to have them reading books and keeping busy while you give those one-on-one tests. Or if you can work it out in your schedule to test them at a different time of day, sometimes that's even better. Some teachers prefer to do it during their plan time or to buddy with another teacher so that you can each have time to test your kids. Some teachers maybe do it while they're at the computer lab or something like that. Talk to your coworkers about ways that they've made the assessments work. Because you are going to be sitting down and listening to your kids read, sometimes for 20 minutes before you figure out where they're at. Would you agree with that? Okay, and do you have any input on how you start your school year with the workshop and knowing that you need to assess?
Well, last year was my first year with it, so the one time I started, and we also have students coming in, I know about where they left off the first year.
Yes, that's
So
nice.
about where it started on the board on the second.
Do you have anything to add, like how to manage it a little bit better, or how did you manage to assess them all while you're doing the workshop, or did you do the assessment first, then start the workshop?
Assessment and then workshop. That's what we did.
That's what I did also. And I did do some of my planning when the kids were, I pulled them out to leave for a little bit of time for the library. Just to get them all.
And you like being able to do the assessment first and then start workshop? Okay, and that's okay. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes it helps. So you just found time. And what were your kids after you're done using your assessment, doing your assessment, look at what you got, what you learned about that student. And it will help you to maybe begin thinking about what you want to do for working with them one-on-one. So we always try to write all over our assessments when we're giving them, set things like not stopping periods, or student is, inconsistently switching then and when. Anything that like that might help you later on down the road to do some direct instruction. Just write it right there on the paper as you're going. Also, just remember that you're always assessing throughout the year, even though we do a beginning, a middle, and an end of the year assessment. Those aren't the only times of year that the kids will increase in their book levels. You're gonna get an idea that maybe this child is ready to move up to a different level book. It doesn't always mean that you have to give the teacher's college assessment. You can do some, observations, through your notes that you're taking on conferencing with them. Give them that next level book and have them read it with you or to you right then and there. Gives you an idea of if they're ready to make that step up. And we encourage, anytime you do an assessment, informal assessment, to use a book that has been leveled with a leveling system. And we have a lot of those, they're stickered usually. So you can find a Baptist level. You can do some informal assessments and move them up that way. It doesn't always have to be a teacher's college assessment. We prefer that, especially those 3 times a year. Okay, do you have anything to add? What did I forget?
Well, you talked about what is assessment
For reading? Maybe later. Okay. I do have a section on that, especially for writing. Yes.
So some of my kiddos do not make a lot of things. And so, for example, when I was doing Stuff in Love with one of my kiddos, he was like, oh, I've read this book before. Like, he had done it and recognized it. So then I felt
Right.
like I shouldn't do another assessment.
Right.
But there's only so many that I can pull from teachers.
And sometimes we run into that this time of the year when they were assessed at the end of last year, and then we're picking them up where they were, and we're finding that this was probably the book the teacher might have assessed last year. So that's, what I would encourage you to do is maybe, again, find a good Fountain Something Else level book, and you're going to have to listen for you'll have to include fluency, kind of figures that you have score, and then you'll have to come with some really good comprehension or retail questions, yes, for that book. So, and that's a great idea. One thing that we talked about as support staff is having teachers have their own little tub of test booklets. If you've got like 3 or 4 ranges where you're running into that problem where kids have read this book before, or you maybe don't want to do the whole teacher's college every time. You want to have a book you can just do a little bit quicker and not have all that copied paper. So get yourself a good Fountain book and have them write some questions on a sticky note just for yourself to remember. And remember to think about fluency. And that's kind of, I don't know. What else? Do you have any other suggestions for her, especially when they don't move up as fast?
You have 2 at a level.
Yeah.
You could try the other one. Sometimes it's your just run that idea, and you might check with the ELA person, which would be me for you, and I might
they go pick their 10, they've now read all the books that I would use to test.
There's, I don't know how much money you have in your budget, but there's a benchmark assessment system kit that we have regularly in order to supplement your teacher's college assessment with that. I don't know if you have money for that, but it'd be awesome. You could order one for you.
Too, it's hard because my kid is going along. Right. You know, like, I have them in kindergarten, so they're maybe 4th grade, so.
That would be a great option for you to do that. Yes.
Also, talking about having, being limited in your book choices. Contact the East Public Library. They are a great resource to not only help you with actual delivery of books, but on some online digital stuff that you can access for the kids to read digitally. I think that would help a little bit, give them some reading material. Because you do want to have enough material to. And if they're there for a while, you're right, they read everything probably 4 times. Yeah. So it's important to have that variety. Okay, anything else that I missed about assessments? Okay. All right, let's do getting ready and stop there. Just do getting ready. Tells you what you need to do to be prepared. Just a minute, you had a section that talked about kids who are meeting benchmark. So I was thinking some of you might be wondering, how do I know what benchmark is? Kay is going to be going over some resources that are on our website, and there is a benchmark form on there that you can look at, print out, whatever you want to do. But it will help you know if this child is at this level, are they on benchmark or not? And that's something that we will go over in a little bit later. And also a text ladder. I like to use the text ladder because I think it's easier to read. It just kind of shows you in a band. At 2nd grade, they should be reading these level of books. 3rd grade, they should be reading these level of books. And it kind of helps you to pace and monitor where they're at throughout the year. So we will be going over that in case you have that kind of question. Any other questions on getting ready? I think it's just pretty self-explanatory. It kind of helps you know what you need to collect. And then we're going to talk really briefly about the read aloud and shared reading. A lot of that is for maybe K1 has a lot more shared reading to K1 too. So shared reading is when all the children are looking at the same text. For example, if you want to put up a poem and you're all going to read the same text together, that's shared reading. And the read aloud, of course, is when you read the text, the same text to each student. And there is some information on read alouds and shared reading. We're going to go over that a little bit more later, a little bit more in depth. And then also talk about what kind of criteria would you use to choose when you're choosing a read aloud or a shared reading piece. Think about what you want to teach. So we're going to go ahead and break for lunch.
Okay, so what I would do is I thought it might be a good idea to use a Post-it note. And this red folder is full of resources for you too. So take a Post-it note and just stick it inside the cover. And we'll just keep track of the websites on there, and then later you can do with what you want with these to try to remember which website is for what. But so I thought it'd be easy just kind of to keep track on a Post-it note, and then you'll kind of can refresh your memory on what it's for. So the first one we're going to go over is the Heinemann website. The Heinemann is a publishing company, and they publish the units of study. And a lot of the books that we're going to share with you, like I think Amy mentioned Jennifer Saravallo's strategy books, almost everything we get comes from Heinemann. And they're just an amazing company. So maybe you've heard about that already, but they do a lot of publishing. So they're a publishing company. And because they have published the units of study for Lucy Hawkins, they are also the website where you will find the online resources that you'll need
So on there, you'll find things like the progressions we talked about, the rubrics, student work samples, all kinds of things on there. The Post-it notes that you guys got, that we talked about, you make the charts with, they have printable ones on there. So, if you want to shrink them, print them out, shrink them down, make them, I think some special ed teachers have done this. They've made little mini anchor charts by printing those out and cutting them and shrinking them. I know I've done it with title groups before. So it's just a handy site. It will have some online resources that you can go to print things off or just kind of some things to look at. So we are going to, in order to do that though, to get to those resources, you would have to have purchased the units of study, which our district has done, and then you have to register your supplies. So we're going to do it today for reading, and then on Wednesday we're going to register your writing. So if you just could go to Safari or your browser and type in, you could even just Google Heinemann, it'll come up, but that's the actual website. So I'm going to go to that on here so you can see what that looks like. But if you just on your sticky note want to write down Heinemann.com, you might want to put online resources to support units of study, publishing company, just kind of so you know what that site has on it. So let's go ahead and open that up, and I'll tell you what to go to register your resources. So you guys need to create an account today. All right, so you want to go up here to create account at the top. There's some personal information. You want to make up a password for yourself. So you will always need to log in with that password. I don't know that it has automatically remember my password. So you want it to, for sure to be something like me. I have the same one for about 50 different things. So if I ever get hacked, they're going to know everything. So I don't know, just some type of password. And then you have to be sure you check the box here that you agree to the policies. It's like they want you to be sure to prove that you're not a robot. I'm going to let you do that, and I'm going to log into my account. Well, I think I'll show you how to do that. So I'll give you about a minute. Just kind of look at when you have that information and go to continue, and then I'll go on to the next thing. So once after you have all that done, then I'm going to show you where to register your things. choices up here. View my registered online resources. So these are things that you've already registered for. So when I go to that, because I work with all different grade levels, I have a bunch on here of all different grades that I registered for. So, okay. Not sure why you did that. I probably clicked on something accidentally. Sometimes my mouse doesn't like it. Okay. All right. So, let me go back to. Okay, so you're going to go on to click here to register. Okay, so you click on that. And in your Unit 1 book, where it said Getting Ready, I think you guys read that with Amy, the overview, it's in your first unit. It says on digital online resources. And it'll show you what to type in. So, RUOS_, and then your grade. It should say what to do. So it's in your Unit 1. Is there anybody else who needs help finding it? You just right here. And it's going to ask you a keyword to put in. So just to prove that you actually have the materials. So you'll have to turn to a certain page in your unit book. If you need help finding this, to how to register, just raise your hand and one of us can help. You know how like I showed you mine and I had all the different grade levels. So if you teach multiple grade levels, you will need to borrow somebody's books to put those on. So, you're right, SPED, ELL. If you loop like Kaylee, you're going to want to register for second and third. Eric, Ashley, right? So how many have you registered for, Angie? You've got 3 different ones for reading and writing, probably. Yeah. Okay. Student, did you find what you needed? Here, I'll give you this.
Well, and that's just for 95, right? was already kind of like, you know, a very good base. It looks like, what does a classroom look like? Yes, and so it was so nice to not feel as I'm one excited that, because you know, this is amazing. Russell. Yes, so I taught MTSS and, yeah. No, actually, we've lived here, well, my husband's really from here. I used to that, so we've been married for 11 years. Yes, so, but I was a non-traditional student, so I was just, when I was like, I just had a job, so then, I was so excited. I was so excited. I just, yes, so I'm in my second year of that, and I did get a little bit slower this summer, so I'll still have one more summer, and then I'll be done. Yes. Well, so I'm kind of on this like long-term plan, my family, that I told them, I said, one of the things that I really respected about my professors was if they had experience in right public education system before they were.
So we're all in.
And so long-term, because I said, not all my son is the most because I was as much as I can. Right. And so my long-term plan is
Okay, so we're going to go on to a new website now.
So should they bookmark that?
Oh yeah, you can bookmark that, sure.
Bookmark it or save it, however you do
Right.
that.
And then on your little post-it note, if you just want to, you know, jot down for the online resources to support the units of study, so you know what, where to find that stuff. Okay, so the next website I'm going to share is our USD 489 website. And you can use that for all kinds of things. When you guys, the teachers who are new to the district, in August, that week before school starts, you're going to have kind of a orientation to USD 489. You have a couple days. I'll talk about insurance and all that kind of stuff. Well, one of the things I think they will go over with you is the USD 489 website and what you can find on there, like to log into your employee portal and all this kind of stuff is on there. So I'm going to share with you the ELA tab, English Language Arts tab, which is where the four of us put a lot of things on. So if you want to, on your post-it note or get another post-it note, the USD 489-ELA tab is another useful website. Divided up into reading and writing. And we're not going to really open anything on here. I'm just going to show you what we all have. I'm going to give you a copy of the K through 8 sequence of units. That's also called a pacing guide. And it tells you what months and what units you're going to do in both reading and writing. And we set that pacing guide based on what the Teachers College, which is where Lucy Calkins is out of, the Teachers College out of Columbia University, they kind of set that pacing guide in the orders that they feel is the most meaningful for kids. And sometimes they tweak that and change it. And in our district, we've had some grade levels that have come together and said, gosh, we really feel like our kids can benefit from the informational unit first before we do this other unit. So we have kind of changed it around. The one that's on the website, the one I'm going to give you, has 2018-2019. But we are 99.9% sure that that's going to stay the same for this school year. So I'm going to give you that. if you lose that handout, you know it's on our ELA tab. The units, this next one, units of study for teaching reading, that just is kind of an overview. Like, let's say that Coxie is thinking about doing the workshop. They could go on here and kind of get an overview of what it is. So if you just kind of want to, tonight or sometime this week, check out that, you kind of see what that is. But that's just a link to, I believe it's a link to the Heinemann website, and it just is an overview of the units. The benchmark reading levels, I have that for you in your folder. So if you would open up your folder, the red folder, we'll just kind of look at that. You can see on the left side, there is the pacing guide, okay, that I talked about up here. So you can find your grade level. It goes from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade. Now I don't see 8th grade writing on here, and I'm not sure why. I'll have to see about that. So middle school, we'll double check on that. But you do have a writing pacing guide. I just don't know why. This is just the reading on here. So should be, we'll get that for you if you need that. Before the week's up, I'll get it printed. I'm not sure why it's not on there.
I remember Kay and them trying to give it to us, and it was so hard to organize, and we decided that they should help each other. They knew what they were doing, and we said, you
For
should help
writing,
each other.
I thought that was reading that they were having trouble with.
That's just what I remember.
Okay, all right.
Maybe
So
it was-
maybe you need to talk to Missy about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, there's the pacing guide. And then on the right side of your folder, so the first two kind of go together. So if you want to pull out the first two, the benchmarks. Okay, that is what the reading benchmark level, that's what this is, what my hand is pointing to here. This is really a handy tool. It's kind of gives you, it goes from September to June because it's more set up for New York. It comes from Columbia University, and they start school in September and go till June. So it's just really August through May for us. But it shows you, let's just go to 5th grade, okay? Go down to 5th grade. If a child starts the year at a P or below, which the average is around an M, and those are reading levels, Fountas and Pinnell reading levels. If they start, they're kind of below grade level, is really what the 1 means, okay? And so if they start the year at a P or below, by November, their average, or they're still a P or below, but they should at least be to an N, okay? If they're average, if they were an M, they should go up to an N. By January, they should be at about a Q. So it just kind of shows you that that's the expected growth for a child that starts like that. So average for a 5th grade, did we say it's 2 or 3? I can't remember. I think it's 3. So average, an average student, so a 4th grader starting out, a 5th grader starting out the year, an average reader, on grade level reader would be reading an S. So you see the 3? So if you go to the end of the year, the expected growth, if they're giving workshop, you know, they're going through reading workshop, their teacher's teaching with fidelity, they're being assessed regularly and, you know, being conferenced with, and they're in a workshop setting, by the end of the year, they should be a V. So it kind of shows you kind of the benchmark, what you're expecting. So we don't expect a child who starts out at an M to be at a V. Now it's possible. We definitely want to push kids as far as we can, but we found this to be helpful at team meetings, SIT team meetings, or thought team, whatever your school calls them, they're all different, get teams, whatever. But it's kind of helpful to say, well, this child started out here, they're not making the growth, or look how much growth they've made. This kid's doing good with reading. So this benchmark is kind of handy. So the sheet that was on top of it is the text level ladder of progress, and this is also put out by Fountas and Pinnell, and it shows you what the letters are that correspond to the grade level. And you can see first grade has a huge growth. Those books, from a D to an I, there's so much change that goes on. So first grade is a huge year. So you can kind of see, the targets where you want your kids to be if they're on grade level.
In our district, we did change it to statistics.
Which,
Like the kindergarten is only ABC, right?
Right.
And then on the other sheet it says to a D, I believe, well, and then the first grade goes only to an I believe. And so it just might not be exact. Because our district, we tweaked it a little bit. Because remember, Joanne believed that kindergartners should only go to a C by the end of the year. Remember that?
Right.
And they said a D. So we tweaked it just a little bit. So if you look at something and it's not exactly the same, that's probably why. That's why it says 489 on that, I believe it. Because we changed it just a little.
And we felt like the benchmark was really very rigorous. Especially when we started out and kids hadn't been in the workshop. It was, pretty tough.
Pretty rigorous, yeah.
So these are kind of handy, but they're also on our 49 website. Let's see, the other thing that I wanted to go over on there. I guess those were the main things, but the framework, I'm going to go over that tomorrow with you guys. There's some other things on here, reading assessment for independent reading books. We've just found some things that have been helpful. So you can just kind of go through that. The trade book list, right here, that is what goes along with your units of study. We wanted some, for the librarians, it's kind of helpful to know what books, that the teachers are using. And you may, if you need to order any. There's some student work samples on here. That's a link to the, I think the Teachers College. So anyway, just you can go through that. And then the writing section doesn't have as much. There's more about conferencing there, but the framework is really the same as writing and reading. It's the workshop format. So reading and writing is they're so intertwined that what's for one really is more for the other. So anyway, okay, that is the 489 website. Okay, I'm now going to move, so you can put your device away. And I'm going to talk just a little bit more about the if-then curriculum. Amy went over that with you. If you want to pull out that if-then book out of your box, she talked about that when she was going through the materials with you. You also want to take out your pacing guide out of your folder, because I want you to be able to see on there how we fit the if-then units into the regular pacing guide. So just find your grade level. So I'm going to just kind of use third grade as an example. Let's see, yes. So August to September is building a reading life. And the third grade, that is such a foundational unit for third through fifth grade. When we started the workshop back 3 years ago, we gave the fifth grade teachers the fifth grade curriculum, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so hard for the kids. So we actually had learned they could teach that third grade. That's such a foundation for the higher levels. So that building a reading life in third grade is really good. That's August through September. And then early October to early November, it says mystery, foundational skills in disguise. And that was a new unit that was put out. And that was an if-then unit. So they made that into a whole bound unit. And then you see it goes to book 2, reading to learn, grasping main ideas and text structures. And then January to February character studies. February to March is research clubs. And then there's an arrow there, kind of goes with writing about student reading research topics. So they're reading about what they're going to write about. So that's how, and a lot of the grade levels are like that. They just work together so well. And then we take a little break to work on preparation for state assessments because it's a fact of life. We don't want to spend the whole year preparing kids for state assessments, but we want to give teachers a little time to familiarize the kids with terminology and to do some practice tests. And it's a whole genre of its own. In fact, the Teachers College that publishes these units, they actually in New York have a whole unit on for state assessments, test-taking genre. So they have their curriculum writers wrote that. So they know how important it is too. But the fact is, if you're doing good, solid teaching, you're teaching these units, you're covering the Common Core, the kids should be prepared. And then after state assessments, mid-March through late April, is an if-then unit. It's a country studies unit. So that would be in the if-then book. So at your grade level, let's just have somebody volunteer who found an if-then unit at their grade level. You had a chance to look on your pacing guide. From the second grade, you have third. So Kaylee would have that learning from countries around the world. Now, because we've been doing these if-then units for about 3 years, some of the teams have actually made their own unit of study for it, and they've taken what it says to do in the if-then book, and they've made mini lessons for it to make it a little easier. Because if you look in your if-then book at what it lists you're supposed to teach, it's so broad, and it doesn't have broken down to just day by day. It kind of is a chance for the teacher to use some of their creativity on how they want to teach it based on the kids' needs. Kind of frees up some time for you to differentiate and to meet your kids' needs for what you feel they need. A lot of times the if-then units are put in before a unit where they feel like the kids need a little more background on that topic before they teach the whole unit of study. So we put the if-then unit in there as kind of an introduction. So I know they sound kind of confusing right now, but when you work with your team and definitely collaborate, really our district, we've really tried to get that whole collaboration culture going. We met with teachers during their collaboration time pretty regularly at first. And so, yeah, use that time because your teachers that have been teaching there a while may have taken those if-then units and have really worked through those. So, in the 3rd through 5th grade, Lucy wrote a letter to the teachers. So in the if-then book, if you're a 3rd through 5th grade, and I think maybe even the middle school, I'd like for you now to find that letter to you. If you're a K2, let's see, you're going to just look at the table of contents and just kind of familiarize yourself. You can even look on your pacing guide and see which one that you are supposed to teach in the if-then book. So I'm just going to give you just a few minutes to briefly look that over. There's a letter to each of you. You notice that. Also, in this intermediate 3rd through 5th, it has, up at the top, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. So some of the lessons are for different grade levels. Some of them are specific for 3rd grade. So you just kind of have, like I said, use your pacing guide, talk to your colleagues, and gives you a little more flexibility in making sure you your kids' needs. So did anybody have anything after they read it that they wanted to share out about what they noticed about it? Did you see what we mean when it's not as scripted out as a regular lesson. If you look through your info, it's a little bit different. So, the more you do this, the more you'll realize what your kids need. It'll get easier. So, okay, we're gonna hear some research about reading from Laura. I know that sounds boring, but it's not.
No.
It's so good. Not at all. Laura does a great job, and it'll back up why we're doing what we're doing.
It is the research chapter, but let me tell you, it's really interesting. And it's great because it's fun to read something and feel good about what you do. Like, oh, this makes sense with what the research says. I'm doing the right thing. It makes you feel really good about it. So as teachers, we're responsible for knowing the research, right? Your parents would ask you, do you know the research? What is the research on kids learning to read and what do they need? It's the Bill of Rights that Mary has mentioned and Amy and Kay, they probably all mentioned it. It's the Bill of Rights. What do kids need? What does the research say they need? And I was thinking about this while I was getting ready. If this workshop were not about how to teach a workshop, if it weren't even about that, the research stays the same. It doesn't matter what you're teaching, but you still need to know what the research is. So this part you can even remove from this workshop of teaching the workshop. It's the research, and it stays the same. It doesn't matter what you're teaching. Okay, so what we're going to do now, look at chapter 3. Some of you are reading a primary book, some of you are reading an intermediate, and some are reading a middle school book. So to try to remember that as we go along here. So chapter 3, it says, what does the research say that all readers need? Most of these books have the same areas that they talk about, and some have a few extras, some have a few less. So we'll try to remember that as we go along. What are the essentials of reading instruction? It says again and again that kids need access to books, kids need time to read, and kids need good teachers. It says that over and over and over. I'd say those are the 3 most important. So the 3 areas that we're going to talk about start with those 3 things. So what I want you to do is read just the first one. It says, what are the essentials of reading instruction? And then just the subheading under that. For primary, it says, above all, good teachers matter. You're just reading that section. Let's see. For intermediate, same thing. Above all, good teachers matter. Just that section. Let's see if it's the same for middle. Yep. Above all, good teachers matter. Just read that one. It's just like a page long. Read that and we'll discuss it. Out to you if you would like to share with the group. Above all, good teachers matter. I feel like we should be standing up here yelling that. Above all, good teachers matter. And that's why you're all here. Good teachers. That's why you're hired. It's exciting. We're so glad to have all of you. All right, what else? That is the single most important condition for literacy learning. Having mentors who are joyfully literate people, it says. And remember that, we're going to talk about a reading life in a little bit, and that's going to come up again. And Amy made the statement this morning, good teachers that teach or good teachers 3 years in a row have kids that score 40% higher on assessments, which I started that and I wish I would have said it, because I hate always referring to assessments, like this is how we get kids to score good on assessments. I kind of hate that, but it does mention that several times. So we're also, remember, trying to create kids that love to read and write. Anybody? Any comments on that section? What's that?
The extensions to professional development.
Professional start trying to read, and you can start with the books in your classroom. If you're a second grade teacher, I mean, you'll have no choice, because the kids are gonna read to you, you're gonna learn about those books. But you could start with your second grade books. You could start with professional reading. I'm sure you won't have a lot of extra time to read when you're a new teacher in the district and you're learning about the workshop, but you have to be a joyfully literate person. How can you be a role model for kids if you're not? I mean, it's hard to fake that, you know? I guess you better fake it well if you're not. But hopefully you would be a joyfully literate person to be a role model for those kids. One thing I marked, it says the nature of relationships among the adults within a school has a greater influence on the character and quality of that school and on student accomplishment than anything else. Wow, that's a big one. The nature of relationships among the adults, that's big. Every one of us wants to work in a school where everyone's kind to each other and don't make fun of you if you don't know something, or, you know, understanding and helpful. We all want that type of a culture in our school. We all do. And it said that has a greater influence on the character and quality of that school and on student accomplishment than anything else. That's huge. Okay, so I wrote this down here for that section. Because you guys will get to do one of these in a second. So I just wrote a little bit of the subheading there, good teachers matter. And some little points that we've talked about, professional development, Stu said that, culture of collaborative practice, we all want that in our schools, and teachers must be readers themselves. We have to be good role models for the kids. Okay, now I want you to read the next section. We all have that section. So learners need enormous amounts of time for actual reading. Go ahead and read that. Some of you have a shorter section, some of you have a little longer one. We'll talk about that. It said in exemplary classrooms, reading and writing took place in as much as half of the day, as compared to maybe 10% of the day for other classrooms. Students in classrooms of more effective teachers read 10 times as much as students in classrooms of less effective teachers. It's that easy. It needs to be important. We need to give them time to read. That's why the workshop is a great match for this research, because it does that. It gives kids time to read. Hey, I was going to ask them that. You shouldn't have said that. Did anyone read that part? What did you think about that? Okay, we've had a lot of good discussion about that. Remember we said Lucy Hawkins uses edgy, as Mary said, edgy words, more liberal. She's from New York City, and she says that a lot of what we do as teachers is crap. And she's talking about, she says a warning flag should go up if there are non-reading and non-writing activities taking the place of the reading and writing. Remember, we want time for authentic reading and writing throughout the day for the kids. So if it's, he says, rolling the dice, playing letter sound games, drawing pictures of word cards, circling right answers on worksheets, that he calls crap. And he said that can't chase authentic reading and writing out of the day. We've had great conversations about that in our district, because teachers have said, I really love doing this. I really love doing these dioramas. I really love, and kids really like it. And we said, okay, then do it in another part of your day if you want to do that. But you have to reserve this time for authentic reading and writing, or when else are they going to do it? They can't be rolling dice and doing center games during the workshop when it's taking the place of authentic reading, or they don't get that time. How much time does he suggest that you need? 90 minutes. He says 90 minutes. Now, Lucy Calkins with the workshop says an hour a day for reading and an hour a day for writing. He's saying 90 minutes a day literature, yes, throughout your whole day.
In social studies or science.
Yes, good point. Anything else you wanted to add to that part about enormous amounts of time for actual reading? Okay, let's see what I wrote up here. Kids need enormous amounts of time for actual reading. Success in reading is directly related to the amount of time a person spends reading. The amount of time reading was the best predictor of reading achievement. Those two are kind of the same. Ellington suggests 90 minutes of actual reading time per day. And Mary's sticking these up over there so we can surround ourselves for the week with what the research tells us is most important to remember. All right, so we're going to read one more together, and then I'm going to put you into pairs, and you're going to do one of these by yourselves, okay? So let's read one more section together, which is learners, because I feel like these three are the biggest, most important. Good teachers matter. Kids need enormous amounts of time for actual reading, and the next one, which is learners need access to books. So you need to read that section. Now, I remember some of is short for some of you, some is a little longer for some of you. Okay, sure, thank you. So go ahead and read that section on learners need access to books with that subheading. And we, as reading recovery teachers, know that that's how we accelerate kids. We have a first grader, and let's say most of the first grade is reading about around an H, but our student is reading down here on a B, then we get B books. That's where we start, or with A's if he needs confidence. And we give him A's and B's, and he reads that so proudly and so confidently, because only at that child's level can he orchestrate all of those cue systems together. Only there does it work. It doesn't work if you stick him, if you are my class and I put you all in the basal, the same level in your classroom, some of you are going to do fine with that, and some will be higher and you'll think it's boring, and some will do okay, you'll be in the middle, and the low strugglers, that'll be way too hard for you. And it'll turn you off to reading, absolutely. That's why a basal mandating a one-size-fits-all way of doing it won't work. Does that make sense? Okay, what else? Let me read this to you. I'm going to read this little paragraph beside the picture, and I'm in a primary book, so you might not have this. This is how we want reading to be for kids, okay? It creates for us a kind of dream, a rich and vivid play in the mind. We read a few words at the beginning of the book or the particular story, and suddenly we find ourselves seeing not words on a page, but a train moving through Russia, an old Italian crying, or a farmhouse battered by rain. We read on, dream on, not passively, but actively, worrying about the choices the characters have to make, listening in panic for some sound behind the fictional door, exalting in characters' successes, bemoaning their failures. In great fiction, the dream engages us heart and soul. We not only respond to imaginary things, sights, sounds, smells, as though they were real, we respond to fictional problems as though they were real. We sympathize, think, and judge. Isn't that the greatest gift that we give kids when we teach them to read? They learn how to think like that, right? Okay. It's like magic. What else? We said let kids be reading at least a 96% at least. And a 98% if they're reading by themselves. Okay, some of the struggle with the kindergarten teachers was, I don't want to just give the kids books and just turn them loose to read because they're not reading over there. And I really did see this in summer school when I'm over here with the group. And Billy is, not Billy, but Billy is over here, he's flipping pages and looking at books, and he's just not on task. So I said, Billy, come over here and join our group. Sit right here and listen to them read. I just pulled him in. So you have to do more with kindergarten, you have to do more choral reading, more shared reading, more partner reading, things to keep them engaged at kindergarten level. You can't just expect to send them off with books and that they'll be engaged for a long period of time. So it's harder in kindergarten and first. Okay, what else? I keep interrupting. Choice. Oh my gosh, choice is huge, right? That is a huge part of the workshop. Give them choice. Anything else?
Talk to them about the classroom libraries.
The classroom libraries? Okay, so at 489, if you're at 489, Shannon Dinkle was a part of helping purchase libraries for all of your classrooms. So when you go back to your classrooms, instead also, you'll have libraries that are a range of books for your grade levels of children. Now, it might not be perfect. There are always exceptions. You might have a couple super low kids, and you might need to come down to the next grade level down and say, can I borrow a few books for him, or go to the library, or whatever you might need to do. But you'll have a wonderful library at your fingertips when you go into your classroom. Okay? So those are the three biggest things that the research tells us. Kids need huge amounts of time to read. They need to practice, right? Like anything else, they need to practice. If they don't practice, they're not going to get better. They need access to books, access to lots of books. And like I just said, you're going to have libraries in your classroom, but teachers have gone above and beyond that, and they're going to garage sales, and they're spending their own money. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but you might want to look for some bargains, for some 10-cent books somewhere at some garage sales, and try to build your classroom library up. Okay, thank you, Mary. Kids need access to books. High success reading, they need to be able to read that. If you're struggling through and it's below a 96%, that's not very, now we at Reading Recovery, we can say 90 because it's one-on-one. We're sitting right beside them helping them, and that's a different situation. Books must match kids. You have to have books in your room that kids can read at 96% at. And choice matters, not a little, but a lot. We talked about what was reading the fits for you, what was reading good for you, and choice makes a huge difference. The child gets to read a book they want to read. Okay, so we did those three. Those are the three biggest ones, I feel like. And then it goes on through the chapter just like that, and it talks about several others. So, what we're going to do here, I've just been debating about how to divide it up. Because if you're reading primary books, I'd like you together. If you're reading intermediate books, I'd like you together. And if you're reading middle school books. Is there anyone reading middle school level here? Just you. You're the only one? Okay. So raise your hands if you're reading in a primary book. Primary. So you four? Okay, so Rebecca and Angie, let's have you go together. And you two girls go together. Okay, so Rebecca and Angie, you read the next subheading there. It says learners need enormous amounts of time. No, sorry, I'm wrong one. This is the next one. Learners need direct. We did access to books, right? Okay, yes, thank you. Okay. Learners need to read increasingly complex text. You see that one? So you two can go off and read that one, and then here's what I want you to do. I'm going to part you up and let you go read, or feel free to read here if you want. And then get with your partner, talk about it, and talk about what you would write on here, just like I did. So just paraphrase that subheading a little bit. Write the subheading if you want. If it's short, just what I did over there. And then put a few bullet points underneath that you would talk to our group about, and you'll be sharing that with our group. So they're not reading everything that you're reading, they can learn it from you. Okay? You'll each be doing just one chapter, I would just really encourage you, it's an important chapter. You just read one section, and we read the first 3 sections together, to go ahead and read all of it. That would be wonderful. Like, Ashley couldn't be here this afternoon, and I said, please try to read chapter 3. It's so important, and that's what it is. So if you can, go ahead and read all of it. It would be wonderful. Okay, go right ahead.
Ours was that students need to have increasing complex text, and that's going to allow for vocabulary growth. Domain-specific words are going to be more, they're going to see a lot more of those, and those will be like science and social studies terms. And then academic language like character, predict, compare, and then more exposure to figurative languages like idioms and metaphors. And then they'll also get more exposure to complex sentence structures, exposure to complex organization structures. They're going to have the different text structures. They're going to see flashbacks and gaps in time. And then they seek to foster a growth mindset, which is going to allow students to develop more persistence when they encounter difficulties.
Wonderful. All right, thank you so much. And notice growth mindset, we've all been hearing about that. This is in the research too, which is wonderful. Okay, so the next one is learners need direct, explicit instruction and strategies of efficiency.
First off, I have to say you had multicolors, and they did multicolors, and then I stuck with straight green.
That's
Sorry.
fine. We don't care at all.
I love
That
having
is
them,
fine.
so happy color.
We don't
Okay.
care. It's fine. I mean, we do care. We don't care about that. It's wonderful.
As you said, it's you direct explicit instructions, foundational instructions, and these are the 3 or 4, I guess, we put on there. Great concepts, phonological awareness, phonics, word reading strategies, and fluency that need to be taught. And then it's taught in a way where it's I do, we do, and then you do. You model and then collaborate, and then they do it independently. And then with the strategy, what, when, how, why. And at the very end, it said teach readers to become strategic. You don't just teach the strategies, you teach them to become strategic.
Wonderful. And they read in the primary book for the verse, yours might have been a little bit different right there. Remember, this is called the optimal learning model. When the teacher models it first, the kids do it with you, then the kids do that in practice, and then the kids do it by themselves. That's how we should be teaching everything that we do. Not just teacher shows you what to do, hand out a worksheet, you try it. You know, that's not the optimal learning model. So, wonderful. Thank you, girls. Okay, the next one is learners need opportunities to talk in response to text.
So ours was learners need opportunities to talk in response to text, and we talked a lot about the social skills that kids are needing and interacting with those with all of your concepts, but especially in your reading. So modeling discussion becomes internal thoughts. Often if you are modeling those lower level concepts, then that's what they're going to repeat. So what questions they hear you say often become the things that they ask themselves. So you want to make sure that you're being really conscientious about it and throwing in some of those higher level critical thinking questions. And the last one that we have is even the more obvious things should be modeled for students. It's kind of piggybacking on the I do, we do, you do. Because sometimes they've never heard it if they don't hear it in the classroom.
Comment I underlined here, which is exactly what they said. If students spend their time answering low-level literal questions, filling in blanks, and recalling facts, then that will be the kind of thinking they can do. So like as they said, growing some
noted was that children need strong skills for reading expository text. In that first paragraph, it discussed how as adults, that's what we read. We read a lot of nonfiction, and even the research behind the hours that children was very, very low, especially when we were looking at kids that came from low-income households, the number of hours that they spend reading nonfiction text. One of the other things that we noted was students who read a great deal of nonfiction gain knowledge about the world as well as about vocabulary, and that spelling vocabulary developed by reading through that nonfiction.
Very good, girls, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This section also talks about conferring being an important way to give feedback. We'll talk more about conferring to come. Talks about performance assessments. We'll talk more about that to come. Learning progressions. We'll talk about all that later. Okay, the next one is children who struggle with reading cannot be taken from the language arts classroom from reading, writing, wordplay, or reading aloud for extra help with language arts. Go for it, Karen. I'm sorry you're by yourself. But thanks for being a good sport.
This one I thought was very important. Talk about struggling readers who are removed from the classroom during their reading time. They won't be able to grasp the concepts. They'll miss the mini lessons, miss the read alouds, and that gives a gap in what they know and what the other students learn. Said it was better to receive supplemental, and we write supplemental because that's in addition to the lesson. Better to receive that before, after school, or possibly a time other than during class. And the interventions that are used should be congruent to classroom practice, and that supports effective teaching. So for me, the support is what the students will receive. In the classroom, they receive that support, that supplemental lesson anytime.
This is so good, Karen. And this is exactly this is ideal. And we would love it to be this way, to be doing reading recovery before school or after school. Well, we would love that. That's the ideal, right? But this is what we all deal with, and we have to really work with the teachers about what times do you want me to pull your kids. And that is not easy, because they say, well, you can't take them during math, you can't take them at this time, you can't. And you know, from our viewpoint, we're like, oh gosh, it's hard to get kids. From their viewpoint, they're saying, I don't want my kids gone. I don't want them to miss them any less. I mean, you can really see both sides there. So this is the ideal. We haven't figured out a way to do that yet. How to take kids before and after school, I wish maybe someday we get there. But we just have to work carefully with the teachers and ask them when is the best time to take this group or to take this time. All right, Megan, go for it. Thank you for going by yourself. I'm sorry, you went by yourself. Okay. She has, for any learner to grow stronger, that learner must be provided with informative, responsive, targeted feedback, right? Right,
Yes.
Megan? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the first point that the book made was that providing students with feedback, and this was one of John Hattie's many studies, but that it rates in the top 5 to 10% for influences on students. So it is one of really the most effective ways to influence our students. And there's 3 parts to it. The learner needs to know where they're going, what is the goal there. 2, what progress has already been made so that they can see that they're advancing. And then 3, what specific activities will help progress toward the goal. So making SMART goals that there's a lot of specificity to it, and a lot of times involves a time limit. And then also the learner is included in the plan. That is not just you making the plan for them, but they're an active part of it. So that there's more intrinsic motivation there.
Thank you so much, Megan. And this has a lot to do with how powerful conferring is, and we're going to talk more about conferring the rest of this week. So, as you can see, the workshop, this is a research that can be totally separate from the workshop, but the workshop meets the needs of what all of this research says. The workshop does all of that. That's why it's a great choice for a district. research, and it does do all of these things. So now we have that research surrounding us for the rest of the week. That's kind of fun. And any questions or comments on anything about the research? I know you just got to read a piece of that, but if you would like to finish reading it at home, that'd be wonderful. It's full of really good information. And like I said, it makes you feel good. When your district goes with something, it doesn't make you feel too good when you're doing something and you read. We read all the time and we pass articles to each other all the time. It's not too good when we see something that we read and we're like, oh, this does that. We know in the research, but it feels really good when you say, yeah, the research says to do that, and we do that. It makes you feel really good. Okay, any other comments? Questions about the research? Okay, Faye, you can go to the next slide. Oh, that was just two sections on that research. Yes. Okay, now, don't say anything, you girls, because I know you know this. Don't say anything, okay? What I want you to do is read this, and, well, just read it. Don't say anything to anybody. Just read it and see if you can understand it. Give me a second to read it. Everybody got a chance to read that? Don't tell me what you think it's about. Don't say anything yet, but is that hard to understand? You like saying, I don't get it. Hopefully you're saying, that's the point of this, hopefully you're saying, I don't get that. It's hard to understand. Okay, now if you go to the next one, okay, wait, before you go on, sorry. This is 90%. This is 90% words correct. 90% word accuracy. So we think 90% should be able to read that and understand it. 90%, it's not too bad, right? Should be clear, it should be easy to understand. You read that, you think, wait a minute, that was hard to understand. I think that's hard. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Oh, that's the next one. Okay, sorry. This one is 96% word accuracy. The last one was 90. This one will be a little bit easier. So don't say anything to anybody yet. Read that now and see if you can understand it better. Chance to read that? Okay, would you flip back to the last one a second, just because I forgot to say something? Okay, pop back on this one, and you're reading that and thinking, what? You have to feel this. You have to know this is how kids feel when they're reading in something too hard. This is so important to know this is how kids feel. They just read along, they don't get it, they just go on. Some of them, they don't come up to you and say, I think this book is too hard for me. You have to know that. Okay, go on back. So this was 90% accuracy. I wrote it from looking at something and I don't remember. It's been too many years ago, I don't remember.
I'll get a copy of what I looked at here.
Okay, sure. I'll give you a copy. I copied it from something and I don't remember. I should have noted that. about the details in the story that maybe you haven't gotten yet. See if talking is going to help you. Talk to the person beside you.
I know it's something, but when she got down,
Okay, so what is this passage about, everybody? Horses. How did you know? How did you figure it out? From horsemen? I know. When I was reading, I read this 100 times, but when I got to this, it's like, that is the key that helps you with the rest of it, right? That word right there.
It's amazing how much of a difference one word makes.
Yes, you're right, Amy. So let's read through this and make sure we are agreeing with what the words are. Humans have been living and working with horses for more than 5,000 years. An unlikely pairing of wily predator and one-ton prey, humans and horses have managed to successfully communicate across the species barrier because we share a language, emotion. Experienced blank, and I said I wrote this so long ago, I don't remember what that word is. What do you guys think it is? Riders, that's what I was thinking. Or you said horsemen? Okay, so both of those might make sense there. Experienced riders or horsemen and trainers can learn to read the subtle moods of individual horses according to wisdom passed down from one horseman to the next, but also from years of trial and error. I suffered many bruised toes. These are good clues too. Many bruised toes. If you've been around horses, you know they step on you. And nipped fingers, that's something a horse would do. Before I could detect a curious swivel of the ears, you know they do that. Irritated flick of the tail, or concerned crinkle above a long lashed eye, and you know they have long eyelashes. So those are all clues that it's about a horse. But think about if you're a child and you can't, maybe you're an ELL student and you can't read the word horses or you don't know what horses are, or you're saying houses and you're reading that. Humans have been living and working with houses for more than, and some kids go on and it makes no sense and they're reading a whole passage about houses. See how that is so confusing to them. Okay, then, so after reading this, did you pretty much get it? You know it was about horses? Or did you turn and talk and then you went, oh yeah, did that help even more? Any comments on that?
I thought horses, but it was confirmed by.
There you
people saying,
go.
I think that same thing too. Oh, okay, good.
I wanted you to try it on your own, and then I wanted you to turn and talk and think about that powerful way of getting you to use your language, to confirm what you were thinking, or to maybe some of you, maybe you read it, weren't quite sure and you didn't get it. Your partner said, well, yeah, it's about horses. You go, oh yeah, it's about horses. And that also reminds us of the power of talking for kids. In the old days, it's a silent classroom, nobody talks, silent, we're not really doing that anymore. The power of talking, the power of letting kids talk. It's not a silent classroom anymore, is it?
Preparing kids for careers. Yes. Now, you don't just work in the cubicle. I mean, yes, there are some jobs you do, but in, careers, you work with somebody and put your heads together to solve problems.
Don't they say that is the most important quality now, is just to be able to work well with people? I don't know, I've heard that somewhere, but that's one of the most important qualities. You might not be as great as someone else, but if you work well with other people and you're willing to learn, that's a huge piece of it. Okay, on to the next one, okay? Okay, one more part here to do with you, and that's a reading one. We already talked a little bit about some of this, how it's important for all of you as role models and teachers to have a reading life. This is really important. One of our kindergarten teachers, she's since moved away, but I was talking to her in the hallway or something, and she said, I said, do you want to be in the book club? To her, and she goes, what? I don't read. And I said, don't ever say that out loud. out. Don't say that. Because as a teacher, you know, I don't know, it's just important to read. And like I said, don't feel bad if you don't have time to read now, but you can start with some of the books in your classroom. And start with some of those children's books. This says this was in your book, the single most important condition for literacy learning is having mentors who are joyfully literate. If you're not being a role model for that, how can you get your kids there? And that's one of our biggest goals, is to get kids to love to read and write. When teachers are public and transparent about their own efforts to develop themselves as readers, they can model that learning to read well is a lifelong process. So how can you model and explain to your kids, oh, what I do when I read, when I don't understand something, I go back and start over. Or, oh, if I come to a word I don't know, even like I'd ask my phone, you know, that's what I do. What is that word? Or, you know, type it in on your computer or ask a friend or something to share those strategies with them. But if you never read, how will you share those strategies with them? Okay, so I'm just going to talk just a little bit about my reading life, and it's not extraordinary by any means. Kay and I worked on national boards this year, and oh my gosh, it was so hard, and I hardly had any time to read at all. It's just kind of reading professionally. Kay's like, yeah, you know what you mean. So my personal reading is kind of this pile, and my professional reading is kind of this pile, but I have not read all of these. These are just some of our professional reading that I want to share with you. This Kindle represents personal reading, and I'm in a book club, and something I love about this book club out of Laughlin, and it's other teachers too, mainly a Laughlin teachers and some others. It's something we're reading Outlander this month, and I have been started, so hopefully I can read it by the end of July. But something I love about this book club is that sometimes someone chooses the books, or we'll take turns choosing, and I often don't go. I just don't have time, or I just don't go. And they choose some deep, dark stories of mystery or murder or something like that, and those books don't appeal to me at all. You know, we all have different interests and different loves, and that doesn't appeal to me at all, so they choose a book that doesn't interest me. I just don't read it that time. And what I love about that book club is nobody gives you any grief, or nobody says, why weren't you there? Why didn't you read the book? No pressure. Are you reading the book? You know, I wouldn't like that. But there's no pressure. Nobody says anything to me about it, so I appreciate that. 489 is doing book studies on these books about kids of trauma. So I'm trying to do that this summer. It's what our district is doing. I guess it's not reading just for fun, but it's to read about learning kids of trauma. And I'm trying to finish this, and it's taking me forever. Game Changer by Donna Lynn Miller. Anything by Donna Lynn Miller is amazing. And she also wrote The Book Whisperer and Reading in the Wild. So if you're looking for some good professional reading, I think we would all say start with this one. We all love this. So if you've never read professionally and you want to read professionally, something that goes with the workshop, this one is probably our number one. Girls agree with that.
Sex area between Penny Kettle and Kelly Gallen.
Penny Kettle, yes. You've been reading a lot, yes. Penny Kettle, we love Penny Kettle, yes, too. Proof of Heaven, this is just a for fun book that I would love to read this summer that my son recommended to me, and Mary talked about that. You can have somebody who reads with you and recommends books to you. Sorry. It's really fun. You can read something that they're reading and talk about it. These are just some other great professional books that you might be interested in knowing. Anything by Nancy Atwell is amazing. The Reading Zone, that's a great book. We have read and studied this one together, What Really Matters for Struggling Readers by Richard Allington, and he's quoted, a lot of what's in here is quoted in your units of study books. He's phenomenal. So if you kind of want, and this is really easy to read too. He writes some others that are not so easy to read, but they're just kind of research only, but this one's really easy to read. Kind of the black and white about what the research says, like this chapter we talked about. Okay, and then Jennifer Saravallo, we have found these books gosh, we love. You want to hold up that one, Kate? You can even tear that off so they can see. These are the Jennifer Saravallo books that we've come upon, and these are wonderful. These have little lessons in them about if you're struggling with this with the child, these are some things you can do, or here's some little mini lessons to try. So this is filled with mini lessons for reading, and this one is filled with mini lessons for writing. These would be great for your students are struggling with something, and instead of pulling out your if-then, or in addition to pulling out your if-then, you can teach some lessons from these books. If you're doing a guided reading group, you can use lessons from these books. They're easy to follow, easy to understand. They're little one-page lessons. These are
Sometimes
really
they're nice for substitutes also.
Yeah.
I mean, the lessons that we get, sometimes they're a little lengthy. If the sub is just showing up that morning and they don't have time to read through that whole lesson, it's nice to have some things sort of in mind that I think all kids can use
to pull out to
for a
use with a
sub.
sub. That's a great idea. So it's a little one-page lesson. Strategy, lesson language, prompts.
No, there
Use
are,
a word you know.
they're in every building.
We have them, right?
Right, we
I
have
the ones
them,
for
and I
my
think
kids.
In Wilson, they're in the library, right by the door.
What did Shannon order for all the teachers? I can't, which one was that?
No,
Was it this one?
For people who signed up for that at our.
Yes, right, it's that one.
Yeah.
Was this one? Okay. So we taught them something, or I can't
We did a
remember.
conferring workshop.
Thank you, guys. We did a conferring workshop with the elementary teachers and the middle school teachers, and you could sign up for this, and Shannon bought everyone one of these. So these are in your buildings too. You could ask to borrow from us or from a partner teacher. These are really wonderful. Jennifer Saravallo, I believe, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, that she taught at the Teachers College for a while, right? So she is right along the same lines with the workshop. And then this notice and note, I've not read this, but the middle school loves this. So if you're middle school, it might pique your interest to read this one. They do some of their lessons around how that is written. And then we have found reading conferences and writing conferences by Carl Anderson. Well,
He wrote the writing.
Carl Anderson wrote this one. Jennifer Saravallo wrote this one. I didn't realize they were written by different people. These are ones we've just found. Okay? And then finding the hard nonfiction, if you wanted something about that. We have all of these resources in our rooms. If you're in my building, come and ask. If you want to borrow one, or Kay's, or Amy's, or Mary's, go to them and borrow from them.
The Carl Anderson book has a lot of videos and access for if you're wondering how to get your feet wet with writing, conferring to writers, has some good videos that are you can watch to get some ideas of how that looks.
So the point is, I've said it probably 5 times now, is just to be a reader yourself, so you can model that for your kids. Okay.
She was going to have us share a little bit about our.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
reading
skipped
lives.
that, yes.
And I really wasn't really a reader. I grew up in school not liking reading. I just didn't really have a teacher really get me excited about reading. And my mom read to my older brother, but not really to me. And so I kind of became a reader as I've gotten older. And my teacher friends share their reading lives with me. So Amy and I have grown up as teachers together, and so she gave me her Kindle password. So I go on there once in a while. But yeah, so we were at a workshop together. I have to share this baby. But I had just finished reading The Nightingale. Have you guys, it's a Hannah, what's her last name? Hannah something. But The Nightingale is a historical fiction.
Yeah.
And it's compelling. I mean, it was just like they said in whatever in our guidebook where it said, you know, you start out reading words and then you start envisioning a train. And I mean, you get lost in it. And I learned so much about history reading it. It was so good. And I finished it when I was at a workshop with Amy and Lawrence. We had a week together. And anyway, that one night I said, well, I'm done with my book and I don't have anything else to read. She goes, well, let me share with you my fun reading. So she gave me her Kindle password, and I'm like, oh, great, all these books. And I started reading, and after Amy, like, you can share that about your reading. Like, it's a way for her to just clear her mind. Yes, and so when I started reading, I was like, oh my God, this is like third grade.
I want to laugh.
Romantic comedy, yes. After reading The Nightingale, it was like, oh, thanks, Amy. I just love telling that Amy because, yeah. But she's much more of a voracious reader than I am.
I read constantly, but I don't like to read things that make me sad. You know?
Me too, I agree.
I mean, I think there are some really, really good books of deep, you know, emotional things. When I read, I don't want to be sad. I want to be entertained, you know? So those are the kind of books. And I also like mystery and suspense. So if I can have like a romance mixed with a mystery, suspense, which I just got done reading one, that's my cup of tea, you know, because I'm always thinking, how's it going to end? Who did it? You know, what's going to happen? Are they going to end up together? All of that. So that's what I like to read. But I was going to say, as a child, like, hey, I was not a reader at all. I did not choose to read. I did not like to read. I was not encouraged to read. Now, my mom did read to me the little golden books. You know, I had a whole library of little golden books. And so I did have a fondness for them, but she would usually read those to me, not that I would pick them up by myself. So I went to Catholic school, and our library was a little bit limited and kind of smelled bad. It wasn't really a happy place, you know? So, anyway, about 5th grade, all the girls in my class were just like talking about this book. At lunch, it was like, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're reading on the bear goddess, Margaret. And I'm like, what's this? What's this all about? So I'm thinking, I gotta be in on this conversation. I gotta get that book. So, of course, you know, I read the book, and then I could be a part of the conversation that was happening at lunch. And so, you know, they were laughing and giggling, and they would talk about it. And if you've read it, you know why. But it's just, that's the one thing that probably got me motivated to read, was that my friends were doing it, and they were talking about it. It was a social thing, and I just needed to be part of it, you know?
Even though you like that type of book, anything that you can talk to kids about, when I read.
Well, it's interesting because I asked my students this last year, I kind of hold my Title I, not some training and recovery students, but my Title I kids, most of the kids are like more family. And I just asked them, what motivates you to read when you have a choice? Like you could go outside or you could watch TV. What would motivate you to just pick up a book and read? What would make you want to do that? First of all, they were like, motivated. I said, what would make you want to do that? Oh, I really like horses. One little girl said, I really like horses. I would read anything about horses anytime. And I had some other kids say stuff like, well, when something's really interesting, like animals, I really like to read about animals. And, you know, I guess I was kind of probing them because this is when we were having kind of an AR debate about, you know, I want to see just off the top of their head, because are they going to say, I want to read because I want to take an AR test? You know? How many of those do you think I got? How many did I get? No. So, yeah, I just wanted to see what, because I thought to myself, well, I don't think I've ever really asked kids, what would make you choose to read instead of doing something else? And that was the number one answer. If I find something I really like monster trucks, or they get something cool at the library, or they know their friend is reading it, or it's a series like, those Underpants books, Captain Underpants, you know, they get into a series like that and they want to keep going. So that was my number one answer, just FYI. That's what the kids say, straight from the kids' mouth.
And with each book you read, if you start with one book in the classroom and you read one first grade book, then that's one more book you read by reading the kids. Hi friend, this one, you should read it, I think you'll really like it. You know, it's one more book you know.
When Amy and I were in that hotel room that week in the evenings, we never once turned on the TV.
I never turn on the TV.
And I'm kind of a TVer. I kind of like to watch things.
See, I don't like TV, that's why I read.
So I was reading mine and I was like this, and Amy, I hear, I hear her laughing. And it was kind of like probably how it is in the classroom, but we never turned the TV on all week. And I thought, gosh, Amy, that was a good week.
I like quiet, and my husband has a little bit of ADHD, and you know what ADHD person does with a remote, right? Is watch a movie for 3 minutes, and then you watch another movie for 3 minutes, and then you watch this for 3 minutes, and then you watch this, and then you might get back to one of those, but I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
You go in another room maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Watch just TV.
Oh, yeah, I
Well, I think I already told you that I like to read kind of what my daughters are reading, and we kind of share back and forth. And, you know, my oldest daughter is 32, and my youngest is 23, and then I'm, of course, out here, outlier. So it'll be interesting what really appeals to me, or to one, like my youngest daughter really loved all the 8 units. And so I read it, and I liked it. It was an easy read, and it had a lot of slang that I didn't know, okay, because I'm too old. And so I had to fill in, kind of like that 96%, I had to fill in what I thought what it was meaning. And then my oldest daughter said, oh, you have to read All the Light You Cannot See, which is an historical fiction book that takes place in Nazi Germany, and it is dark and deep and really, and then it had so many German and Parisian French words that I had to fill in a lot of blanks. And I trudged through that because I just wanted to get, I kept thinking, and the storyline was good, but it was a hard read, for me. It was a harder read. Not that I couldn't comprehend it, but there were just a lot of things that just weren't as pleasurable. And so then I love books like Jodi Picoult writes, which is, they have a lot of drama in them and a lot of, social issue kind of things. And so I will relay that to my girls. And so it's interesting, even though we read, it pushes me to read some things probably that I wouldn't pick up normally. But it is, when we talk about that 95%, it's said in here that adults rarely read anything that's harder, that is harder than 99%. They want you want to pick it up, and you want to know almost every word. And I don't want to be asking my phone, what's this word? I just want to read it. Now, if I'm reading it like a professional journal or something, then you expect that. But pleasure reading, though, I just, like to just pick up and read.
And so do kids.
And so do kids.
Kids do. They're different.
And, and then I think of my grandchildren. And I read to my kids when they were growing up all the time. All kinds of pictures of us all lined up on the couch reading. And it was sad for me to see when they went to school that they became non-readers outside of class. They didn't want to pick up a book. And it killed me because I have always loved to read and the value of it. And so it wasn't until, for one daughter, it was the Twilight series. One daughter was the Harry Potter series. No, Erin was Twilight. Allie was Harry Potter. For my oldest, it was the American Girl series. Once they found a series, like somebody said, some non-readers sometimes they just haven't met the right book or the right author, and I think that's our job is to get those people, get them connected with that. But you can assume that just because I read to them that they would love to be readers. They always love to be read too, but by the time they got home from school and had finished reading a basic story and filling out worksheets, they didn't see any joy in that at all. So, I think we have to be careful of it. And that's why it's so important that we model. Because some children go home and there are no books in their home. There's no magazines, there's no newspapers, and so they don't see their adults in their life reading. So at school, we better be reading to them because,
Speaking of that, Mary, it would really kill me when I would say to one of my kids, "Oh, you read that in high school, right? I'm pretty sure you read that." "No, I never read it. I just used the Cliff Notes." I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's terrible."
Well, and I think it goes back to our conversation earlier when we were reading about some of the research and how, one of the things I wrote down in my book was how so many of the ways that we've taught in the past do things to actually push kids away from reading instead of drawing them in. Not giving them a choice, making things too hard, making everyone read the same level, thinking they're all the same level and they're not. Making them, kind of dictating what they should be reading at all times, micromanaging that. It's, making them do a worksheet or multiple choice questionnaire about a book instead of talking to their friend about it. Think about, like we just said, that's what we want to do as adults. When we're done reading a book, we want to talk to our friend about it,
Yeah, we were talking over lunch because Kay and I and Laura are all in that book study about Billy. Anyway, and so get on, and it's being done over Yammer, and you're supposed to read and respond. Okay, so I get on the first week, I read it, and I get on to respond, and there's a list of 4 questions. And I just thought, this is not what I signed up for. I want to read and discuss. I want people to put, what did you take away from this? Then I'm going to tell you what I took away from it. Can I hear your experience? I didn't want to write out 4 questions because once I finished answering those 4 questions, do you think I wanted to read somebody else's post and comment on it? No. It's like I'd already spent an hour and a half. And so I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've been reading the chapters, but it's great material. I've done 8 questions total, but I think I'm going to just say, this is what I am thinking, and I'm just going to go and respond. I get no points, but it's just not the kind of reading that, and then I think that's how kids feel once they get done, and then they have to go answer those. Darn, I don't care how good the questions are. Really, it's just the fact that I didn't want to talk about that.
Well, it adds a whole nother level of work.
Right.
Oh, I have to read everything all these people said. We all said, we're not doing that. It's too much.
Well, and this assumes that everybody gets the same thing out of the material. Like if I read a chapter and you read a chapter, what speaks to me?
Sure. In my experience in the classroom, it does say, well, how do you use this, or tell me a time when this worked well in your classroom. Well, I have students one-on-one in a small group. I'm not probably gonna have a peace corner, I have them for 30 minutes. So it also comes down to, what does it mean in your life, in your professional life or personal life? And if you don't connect, you don't connect. It doesn't matter if you're 3 years old or 65 years old. I'm not 65, by the way. Yeah, we're out there.
I was thinking too this summer, teaching summer school, that it has a lot to do with how you say things as a teacher. If the child is stubborn and they don't want to read, and you say, you better be reading that this weekend, I'm going to check and make sure if you read it, I'm going to ask you some questions. When you come, that's not going to motivate them. If you say, if you read some of this, I'm going to read it too, and I'm going to see if we got the same thing out of that. That's a great chapter on pigs. If you have pigs, I think you're going to love that. But it's a lot of the language you use with kids.
It's developing that love for reading, because I think, like my husband, he used to love to read. He said, which is why I'm so glad our middle school is doing the workshop model, because now it's still letting kids have that time in class to read. They, we want them, the whole thing is, we want them to love reading. Not read to take a test or read to answer questions, but just read because I love to read and I don't know, it's just such an important thing in life. And I never really
It's like a gift.
thought about it like that till I got into reading. So, yeah.
And one of the reasons we continued it then at the middle school is we heard from a lot of parents and teachers saying, well, my child loves to read now and I can't get them to put a book down and go to bed. And well, what are they going to do in 6th grade? They're just going to stop and they're not using the workshop or what? And we continued it on to the middle school. So.
And the middle school teachers said they noticed a big change in the first group that came from 5th grade to 6th grade. The kids wanted to read books. They saw the books. When do we get to read those books? Some of the kids were asking, and the teachers had classroom libraries, and they were going to work on some other things to start the year. But the kids wanted to read, and the teachers said that was the biggest thing they'd love to see is if the kids wanted to read and never before.
Did one of you have a story about the mom was driving and the little girl was telling about the book?
Misty
Misty tells that. Okay, she said the mom was driving and the little girl, Mom, in this book I'm reading, da 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 da. And she was talking, and the mom said, I have never had that happen with her ever. But she was interested in a book and telling me about a book. She said, I just kept driving, did a loop around house to house, and kept going. And she said that had never happened, but my daughter was back there. And then Mom, it reminds me when I was little, and I'd say, Mom, I want to tell you about this book. And my mom was always busy working and doing something. She'd say, follow me, and she'd be working. And I'd say, and then Mom, and then the little girl went into the river. And then Mom says, follow me, follow me. I'm sure she wasn't listening to me at all. She was working and doing things. And she'd say, come on, follow me. I'd be telling her away about the book. Okay, girls, that's all I have.
Well, I just thought one thing that I didn't get to was some other things in the folder. So,
okay, and I will put all of these professional development books over there if you ever want to browse through and take a look at them. All over there.
So one of the things that's not in your folder that Amy had mentioned, and it kind of goes along with assessments, she mentioned that when you get your students, they will have a card that kind of shows each grade level where they were. This goes up to 5th grade, so the middle school gets these. They're in the cumulative folders, so the teachers have to pull them out. But every year, the teachers kind of keep track of their assessments, putting the date when they were at which level, so that way next year's teacher gets this, and they kind of see where to begin the assessments to see where their kids are at. So this is in the cumulative folder. You guys don't have this in your folder, sorry. Or we could make copies if you want, but I mean, the copies are already in your kids' cum folders. So it also says down here, what interventions they possibly had, whether they were ELL, speech, title, special ed, occupational therapy, physical therapy, were they on an intervention team, were they retained, and then any comments down here, maybe there's a behavior plan that worked really well, or something, just comments. So these we have found are really handy to kind of keep track of where your kids are. One of the things that we want to be sure to do, we talk so much about reading level, the text reading level, letter progress, and we have the benchmark, and we have, this is a teacher tool. This is not what you tell a kid, oh gosh, you were an E, and now you're a G. Wow, you're a G. We don't want to label kids. I'm an I, I'm an H, I'm an M. And Mary's going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, about reading in a band of texts, not just one level. And especially don't tell kids, you are an M. Because they identify themselves as an M, and if they're a 5th grader and they say, well, I'm an M. I mean, I've even had kids stop me in the hall. Mrs. Shippey, guess what? My teacher tested me, I'm an N now. It's like, you're an awesome reader. You're not just an N. Look at all the things you can do because you're an N. You know what I mean? What we want to tell kids, there's behaviors that they have as readers. If they're an M reader, these are the behaviors they can do when they're reading. And that's really are thinking about your characters. And in your books, your characters are changing. Tell me how the characters change in your book. You know, you want to talk about those reading behaviors, not what level they are. And parents, they want to know, where's my kid? Okay, they're reading at a J. Is that okay for a second grader to read at a J? I mean, you know, at conferences you can talk about this with parents, but we want parents to know that we're not going to label their kid they're a J. They can only read J books. We want them to also read a little easier, read a little harder, and to give them that push they need. So just, you know, we started out when we were getting the assessments going with teachers, and we talked about how important it is for you to know where your kids are so you're getting them to the right books. You don't want them to read things too hard. We were really talking about levels so much that I think we kind of gave teachers the impression that they should share that with kids. And, oh gosh, you need to level up. You need to read more because you need to level up. And it's like, oh, you know, there's such a fine line. How much do you want to tell a kid? You don't really want to tell them though. You want them to know kind of a band to choose books from because it's a choice, and they go to your classroom library and shop for books to put in their book bin, and you can choose out of this. These are just right books for you because you're doing this when you read, or you know, you'll really like this kind of book because you really like mysteries or something. It's more about interest and what fits you, not, well, you can't read Ramona yet because that's an O and you're still an M. You know, we don't want to give that impression. So just be really mindful of that you talk about them as a reader, not as a level. But these are just teacher tools in here. So another one in here, this is also on the 489 website, but I wanted to give you a copy because you could use this to put your class list on, and you can just kind of keep track. Amy had one she gave me as a teacher, kind of an example of how a teacher filled it out. So she was a 5th grade teacher, and so her target for 5th grade, we want them to be at B's. So she listed her students here, and in August, this girl was down on the K, you know, so this girl was a 1. That says August, these are all August.
So that she would know when she tested them last, and kind of helped her monitor the timing of the testing also.
So anyway, these letters go across, and you can kind of see how much they move. This was just a teacher tool. You wouldn't want to sit by a student at a conference and say, well, in August you were here, now you're here. You know, it's just more of a teacher tool.
But just looking at that, you know, we talked about basals. If you had a 5th grade basal, look at where your outliers are just in that classroom. You know, basal might meet the needs of 5 to 7 kids probably. And so it just is a kind of a visual too for thinking it that way as well. Why we don't just use one single text for the whole class.
So let's see. The other things we're going to talk about we do, most of this is about conferring because a big chunk of your time is the independent reading time when you're conferring, and that's the hardest time as a teacher. So we're gonna go over most of this, but tomorrow when we talk about conferring. But anyway, just feel free this evening, or if you want to spend a little time, you know, we're finished a little early.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I'm
that's
so
okay.
sorry. I forgot a group, didn't I? Was this yours too?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. You should have said something. You were just hoping you wouldn't have to do it, right? I am so sorry. Go ahead and do that.
I said,
I'm so sorry. We wanted to hear this.
So learners need assessment-based instruction. So monitor cluster skills, what students can and can't do. The assessments are embedded into the instruction, which builds more complex skills. Assessments are ongoing instead of like assessing once a term.
Right, I remember it.
Continue to monitor progress to know when to intervene and determine what supports the students' needs. And students need to see that learning and progress are within their reach. Otherwise, they just shut out.
Yes, and I remember reading in that chapter that it would be terrible to assess just 3 times a year. You know, you're assessing all the time, formally and informally. Thank you very much, Stuart. And I am so sorry that I brought you.
Does anybody have any questions or anything that you're burning to share out that maybe you've been thinking a lot about since you've been reading, or maybe a burning question that you have about workshop? We need to put tomorrow, we need to put out our question parking lot, where if you just have something you think, oh, I need to ask that, you can write it on a post-it note and stick it up there on our question chart. But does anybody have anything right now? Concerns or questions? There are no bad questions.
We usually hear something on the order of, how do we find an hour a day for reading and an hour a day for writing? That seems to be a big concern of a lot of teachers. And really, administrators have worked hard to build schedules that allow that. It doesn't happen every day in every building, but and at first teachers didn't think it was going to be doable, and the kids wouldn't have the stamina for it, and started looking at things that we were doing instead that probably weren't research-based and weren't really powerful ways of teaching language arts. And so now you have your predecessors who have forged the path, and they've kind of figured that out for you. So again, ask to look at one of their schedules and see how they get it all in, because it's doable.
There are some examples, I think, I think we'll be reading that maybe in the management section in the guidebooks tomorrow about possible schedules, but it's always amazing. They don't have everything in there that we seem to have that we need to get in. But there are some good examples. I know that our administration, from the top, the superintendent and assistant superintendent said in elementary, we want to focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic. You know, kind of going back to the old, that's what's really important, is that foundation. Because if they can read well, then they can read science and social studies. I mean, yes, science and social studies is so motivating, well, especially science. Hands-on experiments. I love teaching science. Amy was the math guru when we taught together, but I always loved science and we planned the science and, oh, we're going to do this, you know. But how much of that do the kids remember and retain, and then when they get to middle school, they learn it all over again? But, you know, for some kids, that sparks an interest, and we don't want to let that go. It's social studies, let it go. It's all important, but we really want to focus on reading and writing and math. So like I said, all that other stuff we'll try to fit in. And really, you can integrate your reading with your social studies and your science. So we're noticing at the middle school, I know, oh gosh, what's his name? 7th grade social studies. Matt just had twins.
Yeah. Scott?
Yes, Scott, yes. Kate Scott, yes. And he came down and asked those teachers, okay, what units are you guys doing? You know, I want to do some things in my social studies. I want to, you know, so it's like we're seeing more teaming going on there, and that's really good. I know when Amy and I taught together, we did our science and social studies kind of drove our read-alouds. And so we would use that as we would do reading with our, based on what our curriculum was for science and social studies.
Well, and the latest research from teaching, all of this showed that one of the biggest problem hindrances of students increasing, especially when they get to middle school, high school level, one of the biggest hindrances is that they don't have context for what they're reading. So they're reading at recovery level things. When they don't have enough science or social studies background and cultural time periods, historical events, then they can't understand, they can read the words, but they can't comprehend what they're reading. So it is really